I've been off the mat over the grid. Like my heart, but I'm dodging the sig. One time, cause I'm strict with the pen. 2 times, come my location off. 3 times if you think I'm your friend. All my friends question where have I been, but did my promise, let me make it a day. Get your calendars and go mark the day. About a year from now when I meet today.
What's up, y'all? So welcome back to the channel. Excuse the fact that I'm looking a little janky or whatever, but I am so excited for this video because really I'm excited because I have been trying to figure out what I was going to do with my snake's shed skin for so long, and I finally devised at least one way to use it. Now I have no idea if this is going to work, so this is completely trial and error. If I post this video, most likely it worked. Or if I posted the video, most likely you're gonna see me not working out, but I'm hoping it works out. I went to Hobby Lobby today and I went in there actually to get something completely unrelated. And you know, I just got the creative juices flowing while I was window shopping, and I decided to just go for it. So I'm gonna show you my haul from Hobby Lobby first. Then we're gonna get into the process, but I guess I didn't even really explain what we're gonna be doing. So basically I am going to make a sign. Let me just go ahead and let me show you while I talk, okay? Okay, so basically I am going to make a sign that says home is where my snakes are. And I want to use the shed skin to spell out the letter snakes. To spell out the word snakes with letters that are in the word snake. you feel me? Alright, so this is the first thing that I hauled. I mean, I could care less for this, right? I mean, we don't really care. The cool thing about this haul is that this guy was originally $40 and I got it on clearance. You can't see that clearance sticker, but I'm telling you, I got this thing on clearance for $3.99. Like, you can't beat that, sis. Now, the frame itself is wood, but this material is like, kind of like a poster board material. And so because of that, like the shiny side of a poster board. And so because of that, I don't know how the paint is going to take on this type of material, but I'm really hoping we can cover this up pretty well. So that's the first thing that I got. Okay, the next and most important things are these letters. So these are wood letters, and each pack comes with a set of 2. Okay, so these are the letters, right? But I don't know if I want my words to be this thin, so I might end up, you know, layering the 2 and have it be a little bit thicker so it raises off of the board a little bit better. So that's why I bought 2 packs of S's just in case I want that thickness. So obviously I got all of the letters that spell out the word snakes, and these were $147 each. So y'all, if you counting up how much money we're spending, it totally ain't a lot, right? The next thing I got were, actually I got 2 of these guys. I got these alphabet stickers because I do not have good enough penmanship when I write big, but we're going to use these alphabet stickers as a stencil when we spray paint. So this was $10, but the Paper Studio is currently on sale for 50% off. So I only paid $5 for each of these guys. And there are 60 pieces in each pack, so 2 of each letter. If you see my build of my snake tanks, they are like wood finishes and gray. The paint is gray, and so if I'm going to put this in my reptile room, I wanted it to match, but I wanted it to be a little bit of elevation to it, so I got the glitter shimmer spray paint. I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but I hope it turns out well. And so then it was time for me to decide, okay, well, what color letters did I want on that gray background? I was stuck between black and white. So to be honest, in my mind, I still haven't decided what color I want. I think I'm going to go with the white just so it pops off of the background a little bit more. But I also don't know if, like, I'm wondering if a black would pop off the gray background a little bit more. I don't know. You'll see that creative process as I go along. But I'm going to use one of these 2 colors for my letters. This is the last thing that I actually bought from Hobby Lobby. It is Mod Podge. I got the gloss finish. That's the very last thing that you need, of course, is your snake skin. This is not the only piece that I have. I have a lot. But this is what I'm actually going to be doing my tester on. Let's go ahead and let me show you guys our work surface here so we can figure out exactly how we're going to do this. Alrighty guys, so it is the next day. Now we can assess our little experiment here. So just looking at it like this, I definitely don't like the ones with the colors. So looking at the orange, I cannot stand that. It really takes away from the natural look of the snake skin, as well as with the black. Really not feeling that as well. No, hey, I'm trying to do some stuff right now. I'm gonna need you to move. I guess she's just gonna sit right there. Okay, so yeah, and then the white one actually does not look too terrible, but I think out of all of these, I really just prefer the one with no color behind it. It looks very natural. Even the one with the glitter, it just doesn't look necessary. Like, it's not necessarily adding anything extra to the table. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go with the natural texture. So now that we know that, let's go ahead and get to the next bit. So now we are ready to Mod Podge with our letters. I do have all of my snake skin. So this is all of the skin that I've collected so far, or at least the ones that I've kept. So you can see I have a plethora of them. And so I'm really excited to use them. There's no rhyme or reason to the way that I'm going to use them. I think the ones that kind of look really tore up, maybe I'll start with those first. Right, so I got our skin, so now I'm going to have to go ahead and cut it. This is a pretty good shed, actually. The head is there. The only thing we're missing with this little shed is the tail, but this is a pretty good shed. Let's go ahead and, I don't exactly know how I should cut it, how big the pieces should be. Alright guys, so one of the things I definitely learned from our experiment is that I want to put the Mod Podge on the letters first, and then I am going to put down our layer of skin. Alright guys, so I think I actually like the idea of using one huge piece of skin for the entire letter. That's just going to make it easy to stick on, get it on there, and then we can cut off the excess after it all dries. So now I'm going to go in with our second layer of Mod Podge. All right, one letter down, many more to go. So I think once I get a system, we can probably start moving a lot faster. All right guys, so we are making headway. I am on my last letter, and I wanted to show you guys this last letter because I am going to attempt to use the head, the little the head, and I don't know if it's even going to show up well, but if it does, that would be really, really cool. So let's go ahead and see if we can get this to come out right. Alrighty guys, so now I have all of my letters down. I'm now going to transfer them from these paper bags onto like parchment paper or aluminum foil, because I know that they're going to stick. They are already starting to dry and stick. So I'm going to transfer them onto a different surface so that they can completely dry. Alright guys, so we almost used the whole piece. So this is how much of the skin that I have left from that one shed. So we didn't even take a full shed for any of this. But now I'm going to go ahead and let our letters dry, let our black paint dry, and we will come back at the end of the day. I'm about to go to work, so we'll come back and in about 9 hours or so, and we'll check on it and see if everything is ready to move on to the next step. Alright guys, so we are back to finish the project. Good and bad news here. Okay, so the good news first is that the letters turned out really, really cute. I am really stoked about them. So I do have to clean these guys up, but this is what they are looking like. So it appears that the belly scales did show up a little bit differently than the scales with pattern. So if you're comparing the N and the S here, you can see there's less pattern on this end because it was more of the belly scales used on there, as opposed to this S where you can see that really pretty pattern coming through. So yeah guys, I'm not going to do a second layer of shed skin. I mean, you probably absolutely could do so, but I'm definitely feeling these guys. So I think once they get cleaned up, these are going to look really great. I love that we did keep the wood finish on there. But if you wanted it to really look a lot more vibrant, definitely make sure you use the shed skin that has the pattern on it, as opposed to the belly scales, and that'll give you a little bit more coloration to your letters. But I'm definitely happy with this. Now let's go to the backboard, right? So as you guys know, we originally painted it black, but when I originally was painting it black, I thought that I didn't need to paint the whole thing because it was going to get painted over anyway. You were only going to see the parts where the letters were going to be. So I went to go ahead and spray paint our silver spray paint over it, and it just, the spray paint, remember when I said that it kind of had that shiny poster board finish? So the spray paint was literally just sliding off of that and pulling. So I realized that that was just not going to work. Also, the areas where the black paint was not, it was just too sheer, because that spray paint that we have it really needs like a base coat behind it. And so I went on ahead and I basically painted the whole thing black. So now we have to wait for that to. Alright, so I want to thoroughly explain my original idea for the background. So I wanted to paint the base black. The reason for that was because I was going to put the alphabet letters over that black base, and then I was going to spray over that with the gray shimmer spray paint. So essentially in that scenario, the alphabet letters were going to be acting as a stencil. So after spray painting them, once I pulled them up, you would be able to see the outline of where they were, and everything else around it would be in that shimmer gold gray paint. But the issue is I realized that the spray paint was simply too sheer. So it just was not going to work for what we needed it to do, because the black in that scenario, the
stencil would leave the letters in black, and it just wasn't going to stand out enough from the background. So I decided to change gears. I just spray painted the whole background with the spray paint, and instead of doing the stenciling idea, I am simply going to lay the alphabet letters down and use them as is. Now you will see me using Gorilla Glue a little bit later to lay the letters down, and that's because I did not realize that they were actually stickers. So ignore that part when we get there, but the Gorilla Glue did add a little bit of an extra hold, so I'm not mad that I used them. But I just want to kind of clarify why the background idea didn't work out as originally planned.
What we're gonna do now is we're gonna wait for the paint to dry on the board, and in the meantime I'm gonna go ahead and start cleaning up these letters and seeing if we can get these guys looking a little bit more polished. So guys, this is the piece that we actually put the face on. If you can see it, it might be hard to tell, but we got the two little eyes right there and right there. It's pretty cool. So I am going to be using this Gorilla Glue here. So Gorilla Glue says that it needs to have a dampened surface. So I guess I'm going to get a rag and lightly dust our surface with a little bit of moisture, and then we can go ahead and get started with putting everything on the wall art. The moment of truth is here. This is what our sign is looking like so far. It looks great. But you know, when the Gorilla Glue said that it expands, I paid that no mind, and I should have, because as you can see, we have some expansion of the Gorilla Glue near some of our letters. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna clean that up. I'm gonna take off the painter's tape, and then we will be back with the final reveal. So I am back. I am actually in my animal room, and our project is up on the wall now. So it's been a couple of weeks. I had kind of put the project down, and I just picked it up and I finished it off. So what I did off camera was, if you remember where we left off, the Gorilla Glue had expanded. I was not knowledgeable on that. I had never used the product before, and so it expanded a little bit more than I wanted it to. And when I tried to go in with the razor blade, it was actually taking up some of that spray paint that we had sprayed on the canvas. And I think the reason for that was because that photo was originally kind of like a glossy finish, and so the spray paint was easily chipped, I guess, if that makes sense. So I scratched the razor blade idea, and I just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna paint over the Gorilla Glue. So I went in with some black acrylic paint, but then because our background had flecks of glitter in it, it was very obvious the places that I was painting. So I went in with some spare glitter that I had on hand, and I kind of just sprinkled that over the black acrylic paint. That way it would kind of blend a little bit more seamlessly with the background. Now if you're looking up closely on this guy, you can kind of still see or you actually can, not even kind of, you can definitely see that there's a bit of a difference, and that's just trial and error. If you guys do replicate this project, please use something that won't expand, and then you should be perfectly fine with this project. So basically, I put the glitter on there and it sat, and now we got it hanging on the wall, and I absolutely love the way the project turned out. I mean, I have a lot of shed snake skin as a snake owner, of course, and so I just always want to do a project with it, and so this is the first thing that I thought of. I actually have some other ideas, so you know, if you want to see some other video ideas using shed snake skin, then make sure you subscribe to the channel and be on the lookout for those videos when they drop. So that's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a little bit of trial and error in there, but it worked out in the end. So I hope you subscribe, be on the lookout for future videos, and I will see you next time. Peace.
Through all of my chips in the game, risk it all, I am not playing safe. Lyrically, there is nobody on top of me. Seriously, all this mumble rap really be killing me. If I'm in your city, you know I'm pillaging. F***ing up villages, boy, I'm diligent. When it comes to myself, I ain't feeling it. Try factor out the gate, I'm a trilogy. Stuck to my roots like how religious niggas be, but I never switched up, yeah. If I throw a punch, you hit the gun,